in a little house. And that house was in a field where vegetables grew. The only other thing that grew in that field was a tree. Now, Gombe's field was just a little bit outside of the town. And most of the time, Gombe would sit inside of his house at lunch and eat by himself. But one day at lunchtime, there was a knock at the door. Gombe got up. Gombe opened the door, and standing on the other side was a beautiful woman. The beautiful woman said, "Hello, my name is Hiroko, and I have been traveling by myself for a long time, and my feet are tired. Could I come in for some food?" And Gombe said, yeah, you can come in, yeah, come on in, I'll let you go. And so, Hiroko went into the house, and Gombe made her the best lunch that he could possibly make her. And they sat, and they ate, and they talked. And as they sat and they ate and they talked, Hiroko discovered that Gombe was indeed very generous and very kind. And Gombe discovered that Hiroko was even smarter and funnier than she was beautiful. And so, they fell in love. And by the end of their meal together, Hiroko said, "Gombe, will you marry me?"
That's funny.
And Gombe said, "Yeah, I'll marry you, yeah, I'll be your husband, And so, that very night, a wedding feast was had, and it was a grand party, and Hiroko and Gombe were so happy and so in love. Now, Hiroko discovered that in this honeymoon phase that they were in, there was one little problem. Gombe was so distracted by his love for his wife that he couldn't get any of his work done. He would be digging in the field, and then he would think about his wife, and then he would miss her, and then he'd run into the house, and he'd say, and then he'd go back out, and he'd start digging, and then he would think about his wife, and then he would miss her, and then he'd run back to the house, and then he'd start digging, and then he would think about his wife, and then he would miss her, and then he'd run back to the house. The crops were not getting planted. The same thing happened when Gombe sat underneath the tree. He was supposed to be weaving straw sandals and straw rain capes to take to the market to sell. But he would begin to weave. He would begin to weave, and he would think about his wife. And then he would get distracted. And before he knew it, there was a sandal that was 6 feet long. And he would begin weaving his rain capes, and then he would start thinking about his wife. And before he knew it, there was a rain cape that was 12 feet long. Oh, they couldn't take these to the market to sell. Hiroko needed a plan, and so she marched herself right to the town, and she had the town's best artist make a painting for her. Can you make a painting with me? With your paintbrushes? She made a painting. And it was a beautiful likeness of her. So she brought it back to Gombe, and she said, "Gombe, I want you to hang this on a branch of the tree. And then, instead of running to the house all the time just to say hello to me, you can look up and still get your work done." And Gombe said, "Oh, that's a good idea." And so he hung the portrait on the tree. Can you hang the portrait on the tree with me? He hung it on the tree, and wouldn't you know it, it worked. He was out digging in the field. Can you dig in the field with me? He was out digging in the field, and he could look up at his beautiful wife's portrait and keep digging. And when he sat and wove his sandals and his rain capes, he could weave and look at the portrait and get everything to just the right size. Great plan. It worked for a long time, until one day there was a great wind that came across the land. Can you make the wind with me? Ready? And it blew through Gombe's village. It blew up to the tree in Gombe's field, and it went up through the branches, and it caught that portrait and sent it up into the air. It swirled it around, and it carried it off. The portrait was gone. And so the portrait continued to fly in the breeze. Can you make the breeze with me again? Ready? It flew over villages, over fields, until it landed right in the gardens of the king. And the king happened to be out for a walk in his gardens that day, and the king happened to pass by the portrait. He looked down. He saw a portrait of a beautiful woman. He picked it up. He said, I am the king. This is a beautiful woman. She will be my wife. Guards, if this portrait exists, this woman exists, go find her. Bring her here to the castle to be my wife. And so, the guards began to march. They marched from village to village to village to village to village to village to village. And in every village, the people were scared. Oh, can you make a scared face with me? Oh, they were so scared. And finally, the soldiers got to Gombe's house, or to his village. And in the village, they asked if they knew where this woman was. And all the people were scared. So they said, oh, that's Hiroko. She lives over there. So the soldiers marched to the house where Gombe and Hiroko were having their lunch together. They got to the house and they, boom, they kicked in the door. They said, You are the woman in this portrait. You will come to the castle. You will be the king's new wife. Hiroko stood up and she said, no. And Gombe stood up and he said, no. But the soldiers grabbed Hiroko anyway, and they began to drag her to the door. She was kicking and screaming. Gombe was weeping and wailing and pleading. But the guards had Hiroko, and they were pulling her out the door. But even in this most desperate situation, Hiroko came up with a plan. She said, Gombe! Gombe! At the New Year's celebration, come to the royal gates dressed as a beggar with pines on your back to sell for the celebration. And then she was gone. And Gombe was devastated without his wife. The only hope he had that whole year was to go to the palace gates for the New Year's celebration. That's what he clung to for the whole year. Meanwhile, Hiroko was at the palace, and she was forced to marry the king, and she was put in the finest of robes. She wasn't happy about it. And she was given this most sumptuous food to eat, but she wasn't happy about it. And she was provided the best entertainment in the kingdom, but she wasn't happy about it. And she let everyone know by not smiling, not laughing, not even giggling for a whole week. She refused to do that. Now, provided her with the best clothes, the best food, the best entertainment, she should at least be smiling. She should certainly be laughing at my terrible jokes. It bothered the king that Hiroko wouldn't laugh, so he watched her. Now on New Year's Day, Hiroko woke up a little happier, a little lighter. And the king noticed this. So the king watched Hiroko all day long. He noticed that she was standing near the window. And at about noon, there was a little song that floated in through that window. It went like this. Pines for sale, pines for sale, pines for sale, pines for sale. Oh, what? My wife is laughing? The king came running over to the window. He pushed Hiroko out of the way. He looked out the window. You're laughing at that? That fool out there dancing at the gate with pines on his back? Yeah, isn't that funny? I've been trying to get you to laugh all year long, and this is what makes you laugh? Why, I could do that. If you had been doing that all year long, I would have been laughing the whole time. Well, the king wanted to be the one making her laugh, so he ran out the castle, he ran to the gate, and he demanded that the beggar with pines on his back change clothes with him. Well, it was the king. He had no choice. He took off his clothes right down to his underwear.
Oh.
And the king took off his king's robe right down to his royal boxers. And then the beggar put on the king's clothes, and the king put on the beggar's clothes. And the king put the pines on his back, and he began to dance around. Pines for sale, pines for sale, pines for sale, pines for sale. Well, now that the king was consumed in his task of dancing around with pines on his back, Hiroko called out the window, "Ganbei! Ganbei! Come in! Come in! Close the gates behind you! Lock them behind you and come into the castle!" So that's what Ganbei did. He went in, he closed the gates, he locked them, he went into the castle, and Hiroko took Ganbei, now dressed as the king, and she sat him on the throne. And she sat on the throne next to him. They were the new king and queen. And they ruled the kingdom together, very happily and very much in love, for many